drop a ball.
My house is dropping.
Oh, who cares about that?
We
Hi, welcome. This is Atlas Shrugging. I'm Zach, and this is my YouTube channel. Originally, before Tommy Lauren dropped a massive gift to the Manosphere, this was going to be my original first video. So it got delayed because of that whole fiasco, but it allowed me some time to filter out and edit some things. So hopefully this video actually turned out better than it was really intended to. So before I forget, if you like this content, please like, comment, subscribe. If you don't like it, tell me why, and suppose you're married. I know some of the guys are in the MGTOW thing, and you know they never want to go down that road. I'm not in that group. I'm actually happily married. But suppose you're married, you work hard all day, and you come home to your lovely wife. What attitude would you rather come home to? Think about that for a second. So a while back, I was watching a video that Joker was doing on these two women, and you can see them pictured here. I believe their names are Catherine and Natalie. Their channel's Cat and Nat. But what shocked me was the level of contempt they seem to be showing towards their husbands. Their husbands never, to my knowledge, they have a ton of videos, but at least in the videos that I was looking at for this, their husbands and the kids never appear in the videos. But they talk about them all the time. In Joker's video, I was wondering if they were just doing a bit trying to be funny, or if this was something deeper. And while digging through their channel, I found that at the very least, it's a reoccurring cheap joke. But with his, I found at least 20 videos just with a very simple search that all had this topic and all had this attitude. So it makes me wonder if things aren't deeper than that. At the same time, Joker also did a different video and allowed me to find Jennifer Molesky's content, which has a drastically different attitude. So we'll take a close look at both of them, and we're going to do a compare and contrast. So I do have some questions that I want to answer, but to my knowledge, all these women are married, all three of them. I believe they all have kids. I know at least Kat and Nat, they have each 2 or 3 kids. I'm not sure about Jennifer because she keeps her stuff a little more closer to the vest. And they are all around the same age, and all reasonably attractive women. I have no idea what their relationships with their husbands are actually like outside of these video clips. I'm only commenting on how they portray themselves in these clips. So for all I know, they could be completely different in real life. That said, we're using this as an educational tool, so keep that in mind. So the questions that I want you to think about as we're watching this, 1 for men, 2 for women. So for the men, which attitude would you prefer to come home to? For the women, which attitude do you think your husband or future husband would prefer to come home to? And again, for the women, which attitude do you think would lead to a healthier and happier relationship with your husband or future husband? So with that, like I said, I've edited these down. I've got 4 video clips where I've mashed all their stuff together from a whole bunch of different videos. All of the videos that I sourced it from are linked in the description below if you want to go look at the original content. I would say that Jennifer's, she has a much longer video, so the clips that I've picked are a very small fraction of what her actual content in those clips are, or from the clips came from are. So worth looking at. A lot of Cat and Nats are very short videos. They're like 3 to 5 minutes long, where they have this reoccurring joke, and I just picked out some of the ones that were pertinent across it. So also, just as a request, if you do go to their channels, please do not be rude in their comments. I'm using these as an example and purely a learning tool, so please, there's no reason to go harass other content creators. So with that out of the way, I've broken this down into 2 main topics, the first one being intimacy, and the second one being their whole approach to their relationship with their husband. So we're going to start with Cat and Nat's clips, and I'm going to kind of stop it periodically as we go through, because offer my commentary as we go along. So we'll start with the first one.
That's kind of what they're thinking. Like, she's not going to be that tired. She's going to be available. What's going to be her excuse this weekend? Yeah,
So here, she's talking about going away. I believe she was talking about going away to the Bahamas, and how her husband was excited because it meant that they could actually have fun. You can see her trying to picture what's going in the mind of her husband, saying, "What's going to be her excuse? I've taken away all of her excuses. What's going to be her excuse to avoid it now?" And she thinks this is funny, but this is a indication of a potential problem. If she doesn't want to have fun with her husband, it means that she doesn't want to take care of her husband. She wants him to do everything for her, but doesn't want to reciprocate the intimacy, which that is a larger issue. Moving on.
Especially when sex is really just made for making babies. So if you've already got all your babies, you shouldn't even be having sex.
And yeah, we'll move on.
Sex is off limits during COVID.
Yeah. So again, she's basically saying because we're in a pandemic, she's stressed out and doesn't want to get down with her husband. Okay.
Legs aren't opening up in the first phase, not the second phase, it's actually the fifth phase when you're allowed to go on vacation.
So there we have it again, where they're like, all right, well, when we go on vacation, we might be able to do that. Really? How often do you go on vacation? Maybe once a year? So what you're saying is you want to get intimate with your husband once a year? At best? Okay.
We would be a lot nicer to our husbands if, every time we didn't, if we touched them, they didn't think it was like an open door for sex.
When I walk out of the master bathroom without a towel on after the shower, I am not inviting you into this place. I just need a towel.
Simply need a towel. I can't even believe you walk out naked. I would rather crawl on the floor and ninja rather than walk out naked for him to even get iota. Second thing, when I lie there and I rest my head on your shoulder, no, I just want a friendly hello. I want a friendly, how you doing, babe? Not a, how you doing, babe? No, it was just a friendly hi. So I'm more inclined to snuggle you if you don't think it's for sex every time.
When we're walking down the street with all of our children, and I go to hold your hand, don't ask me if this means something's gonna happen tonight. I just want to hold your hand.
Yeah, I'm just being nice.
Just being nice.
Doesn't mean I want sex. I can be nice anytime.
Okay, so went through the three of them because they all kind of show the same thing here, and it makes me wonder. So there are two things that stand out to me in those clips. One, if every time, and I'm hoping they're exaggerating here, but if every time they try and hold their husband's hand or give him a hug or show any sort of bedroom related activity, in terms of physical affection, if their husbands assume that means it's a sign that they're going to be getting some, it means that one, they aren't giving them enough physical affection outside of the bedroom, and two, they aren't giving them enough physical affection inside the bedroom either.
Never have sex at nap time. Never have sex at nap time.
No.
That's a big mistake.
No.
Because they nap every day. That gives a window. Keep it to a small window, and then that's the only time it's available. That's what you gotta do. Although Jess says morning sex is where it's at. I got it. I never look hot, ever. Granny panties, never look hot, don't have sex. It's a great marriage, right? Is there a time he can have sex with you? Yeah, of course.
When he takes me to the Bahamas for the weekend.
So again, back to, hey, when he takes me away, he spends a ton of money on me, then he might be able to get something.
My time is... I don't have a window open. I don't. I got a good 6 more months.
6 more months. So who knows how long it was before, but another 6 more months. Aye.
So when I'm love without the bone, I'll give more love.
I'll give you some bump and nasty.
I'll bump the nasty more if you give me a little bit more. Don't have sex.
Okay, so they complained earlier about when they give non-bedroom affection, they think it's for the bedroom, or indication of the bedroom fun coming. And then they're saying that if you give me some of the non-bedroom side of things, we'll give you some of the bedroom stuff, potentially. At the same time, they're saying they've got 6 months or a year to go before they run into needing to do that. does it really look like they actually love their husbands? Is really what it boils down to me.
Sex for 6 months, only touching, but not genital touching.
Private parts.
Private. Don't private part touch.
Oh my god, everyone's gonna be so thankful they're not married to us.
Yep.
Well, but when we do it, it's good.
Okay, so, but when we do, it's good. Most guys would prefer quantity over quality. And what I mean by that is, if you, let's rate it on a scale of 100. Let's say that once a year you do 100, but that's the only time you do it, or you do it every week at a 75. Every guy on the planet's going to say, I'll take the 75 every week. Getting the 100 once a year, not going to cut it.
Like now, when you walk out of the shower, make sure you don't ever show nipples or pube. Get your bathrobe, buckle it up.
As you walk out, pass a little gas.
What was that? You do have to do it sometimes. This is like your life raft when you're really not in the mood because it's so cold and getting naked makes you want to barf. Hemorrhoids, they're not going to check for that. When a headache doesn't cut it anymore, oh God, ow,
But you gotta walk with your butt clenched. Nobody.
If they are going to go for it because it's been a few days or weeks or months, you
It's painful watching this.
sometimes just have to do it.
To share why your pony's not getting a ride, gentlemen, and why your Johnson's not getting the southern comfort that it used to, and why when we see it coming, we most definitely turn a blind eye. We don't want that one-eyed snake near us.
So as we've seen in the previous videos, apparently they don't want it, and they completely miss that. That's kind of, for most guys, that is a key way for the woman to show appreciation and affection. And if she's not doing it, there are... Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Pet my feelings,
Yeah.
my heart, and my brain.
I want to know why I'm great, not why my vagina's
Because
great.
we know you love that.
Why am I
That's
great?
clear.
The things I wouldn't love to do.
We know it sounds complicated. We get it. Just try to understand. The pony's not broken.
It's just these beautiful children we birthed for you that we asked for life and that we fornicated for a lot to...
So I stopped it here real quick because they said they fornicated a lot for. Fornication is bedroom fun outside of marriage. So what were you doing?
Yeah, they beat a lot out of us.
Hey, babe, got a huge bonus today.
Alright, so now then they've gotten into the whole aspect of when they do get turned on. Hey, I just got an extra cache of money. Ooh, really?
Well, and that's definite mom sex. But that's the real sex, not just mom sex. Makes you horny. Money makes you horny. Yeah.
Before babies, it's like you'd almost look forward to it.
You would have...
No, she said almost look forward to it. Almost. Not that she would look forward to it or she enjoyed it, but she would almost look forward to it.
mind if they woke you up at 3 a.m. after they came home from a boys' night out and tackled you. You would love it. You would welcome it.
When you moved into a new place and you wanted to christen all the rooms?
Yep.
Or how about shopping for lingerie?
And you didn't get offended if they gave it to you.
Oh my gosh, you want to see me?
So the implication here, and they go into it immediately after this, but I didn't include in the video, is now they don't look forward to it. They get offended when they are, shown lingerie.
This happened.
I gotta sleep.
Yeah.
You know what? Get it in and get it out.
And
Let's
somebody's
get
gonna
this
come
done.
wake me up in a few minutes.
And I have a sexual curfew. Before you used to lie and snuggle, maybe go for round 2. No.
Round freaking
I'll see you next
2?
month.
See you next month.
I'm gonna
I'm
do
gonna
this.
do it really well, so that maybe I don't have to do it for
I'm
a
gonna
little
burn
while.
a lot of calories. So
Yeah.
So here they're doing a comparison between working out and taking care of your relationship in the bedroom. And it's basically saying, hey, if I burn a lot of calories and do it really well this time, I don't have to do it for a while. It's not how working out works. It also is not how bedroom fun works either.
you know what? Maybe I won't have to do it tomorrow or the next day.
One for the book.
You're like, it is like the best.
Oh,
You're
gosh.
free for
Freaking
like
the
a
feeling is euphoric. Really.
euphoric. Not because, just because you're.
You're feeling great, not because you just connected with your husband, but because you won't have to connect with him for a little while. Really? Does it sound like they like their husbands here?
Free.
After you're like relaxed, your endorphins are high.
Yeah,
you feel
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
You did a great job.
Everything's great.
Until the next time.
Ring on it, and you're all like, let's do it. It's like sex for life.
Yeah. That's why guys commit.
If you're hungry, you eat. When you're tired, you sleep. If you're hornily, why am I all of a sudden in charge of taking care of that feeling for you?
Because we put a ring on that finger, saying that we would only do that with you. So, if you're saying that you no longer want to do that, are you now saying that your husband could go out and find somebody else to do that with? Just...
Oh, it's coming. You know you got to do it.
You want to avoid it.
You can't avoid it.
And you don't want to do
and
it.
everywhere you look, everyone's saying it's important to do
Yes,
it.
it's like taking care of yourself and your relationship.
Yeah.
Working out is yourself and is the
your
relationship. What's the pill I can take to not do it? Can someone else do it for me?
All right, so can somebody else do it for me? That's the question that I really wanted to ping on it. So with the attitude that I saw in all these videos, and these are just the highlights that I picked out of these, I think it was like 30 or 40 videos that I went through and narrowed it down to 20 to pick clips from. That question, with the attitude they had, eventually their husbands likely will find somebody else to do it for you. Just my take. When I was looking around at what I was able to find on things like WebMD, is the number one reason that men in relationships, or specifically marriage, cheat is because the wife is withholding intimacy. So if you have this attitude, don't be surprised if he says, you know what, you wanted somebody else to take care of it for you, not a problem, I found somebody else to take care of it for you. Problem solved.
So, you provoke your man. You ignite his senses. You provoke and ignite his happiness, his humor. You acknowledge that he is your hero. You provoke his sexual appetite. You provoke his libido, and you allow him to express that pleasure with you.
All right, so in that video, Jennifer, I believe her last name is pronounced Molesky. She was, her whole idea in that video was, you should approach it like your husband's going to cheat or your boyfriend's going to cheat. And her rationale behind that is, if you approach it like he's going to cheat and you treat him better than any woman could possibly treat him, when he cheats, he's only downgrading. So if you take care of all of his needs and treat him the best you can possibly treat him, when he cheats, you're going to be the quote-unquote one that got away. He's going to be looking back going, crap, look what I screwed up.
You know what I want? I want to walk through the streets with a real man who understands that I'm not his equal, I'm his home. I want to support a real man who can fight a bad man. And then when the time is over and his testosterone is still pumping through his veins and violence is in his eyes and it's time to bring him back home to peace, it is my job to love him. Some people say it's called fucking the war out of him.
Alright, so you jumped to the next video already, so I apologize, but the whole concept that we see there is she wants to make sure that her man's taken care of, and one of the things that she wants to make sure that they is taken care of is his libido. If you, just as a tip, if you make sure that the man's satisfied in the bedroom, it's less likely that he will look elsewhere for that satisfaction. So, as you can probably tell, I have my preference on which attitude I would prefer to come home to between these two groups of women. But what's your take? Right, so moving on to their approach to the relationship. Now this is a little shorter, but equally as important.
I've recently been saying that our husbands are they're ranking very high recently. They're both, right?
Yeah.
They're doing really well.
Yeah.
We both really like them.
How condescending is that? Irks me to hear it. No, they're doing really well right now. It's kind of like when you watch like The Simpsons or Family Guy, you see Homer Simpson or Peter Griffin, and like they're bumbling idiots. Like this is how they're talking about their husbands. Yeah, they're the bumbling idiots, but right now they're doing pretty well. No.
When I come down looking hot because we're going out to a party, don't think it's because of you. There's women there that will be watching.
Okay, so you're going to a party. You don't want to look hot. To make sure that your husband feels proud to walk out with you. You want to look hot to impress other women that are at the party? What sense does that make?
If you're a man and you're gonna call him, it must be nice to be married to you. You know what? Yeah, it is nice to be married.
I have no words.
Your spouse
It's rare. A man's like, I got needs. Well, girls, we got needs too.
Your needs aren't being taken care of? It sounds like there's a lot of taking, very little giving.
Work early and don't worry about dinner.
No.
I've got it.
You know what? That is like an orgasm on the spot.
No, yeah, no, that is like that's never happened before. I was just thinking that nothing. That would
That's
be
like the
that would
G
be-
spot.
So, hey, I stay at home and I take care of the kids, but I don't want to cook. Is one of the things that I'm doing while I'm at home. It'd be great if you left work early so you're making less money, bought dinner on the way home so that I didn't have to cook.
That's like all the spots. Something up for yourself. You need some new clothes, you know?
Go shopping.
Yeah. You know, when the package arrives at the door and you don't have to hide it, they just like, what'd you get? Show me. They get excited.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you got things you like.
Not, you have one of those in your closet already. Wait, don't you have? Didn't you get that? Isn't that new?
Hey, I'd like your wallet. Because I want to go shopping.
Dinner's out and then
Yeah.
fast asleep.
Dinner's made and no cleanup. Mom sex is them knowing exactly what you need, when you need it, without having to be
Before
told.
you even need it.
All right, so I love that last one. What you need, when you need it, without having to be told. So they don't want a husband; they want a crystal ball. All right. Jumping into unrealistic expectations, let's see what Jennifer has to say.
Why, oh why, do women have unrealistic expectations of men and a skewed sense of self? I have some ideas.
Yeah, I love that clip because that was perfect to follow the previous clip, so I just had to put it in there.
When you're in a relationship and act in a way that is creating the perfect mold, a few things happen. For you, most importantly, you can rest your head on your pillow every night knowing that you acted with integrity. You have fairly managed your emotions. You have been the best woman for your man. If you're setting yourself up for the best revenge, when he does cheat, I want him remembering and missing you. As he enters the world and explores more and more women, I want him to realize how good he had it with you. It's her good.
Yeah, so she closes out that point there. So I kind of gave it, dropped the punchline. But yeah, that's her whole approach is, hey, treat your boyfriend or your husband in the best possible way so that if you guys are no longer together and it's his fault, that he looks back and you were the one that got away.
Good judgment. She gives herself, her body, her spirit to a man. It is a voluntary act between her and the man. Hers is a submissive gesture to be in partnership with the man, and a real man leads his woman. I think some women hate the idea because they think a man will be a tyrant, but a real man's intention is to lead you both to a good life or a better life every day. The goal is to live a good life, safety and happiness, joy and the obtainment of goals. You're his home, and a real man takes care of his home. Be at home.
So yeah, so you continues the same kind of mentality here.
Home. And to make it his home, to nurture him, to fuck the war out of him, to bring him back to a place of peace. Home is your heart, your arms, your body. Home is the cooking that you do for him. Cooking is no joke. Knowing what your man likes and then preparing it with a smile on your face.
Notice the contrast between this and the previous video where they were complaining, going, "Oh my God, I wish you would quit work early and bring dinner where I didn't have to cook it." Here she's saying, "No, you should." Make sure that you are the one taking care of the cooking, and make him happy by cooking things that he likes.
Is a big deal. If it were a little deal, half the women in America wouldn't bitch and moan about it. Half the women in America would actually know how to do it. I mean, that's how lost we are. Some women are so lost in narcissism and competition that they don't even know how to cook. Home is the solace he feels in a real woman's company. Home is the way he feels in your presence because there's no posturing, no competing, no orders. Home is the words of consolation and support he hears from your lips, the lips of the woman he's chosen who has chosen him. A real woman's role is to keep things clean. The house, the children, the communication, the intentions. Your role is to keep your children safe and likable and jolly and sharp and useful. Your job is to make him laugh through thick and thin. Your job is to rub his shoulders after he's tilled the garden or felled a tree or had a hard day at the office. Your job is to stay as beautiful as you can so he has something wonderful to look at. The job of a real woman is to be the someone that he can look at with genuine fondness and think, she's mine. And you look at him with fondness and think, he's mine.
Now, contrasting with the previous videos, do you get the impression that those two women were looking at their husbands going, he's mine? I know I didn't get that impression, but moving on.
Number 2, learning to cook well for yourself and your man and your family and your friends is probably a more fulfilling thing to learn and practice for the betterment of your life and the lives around you than any degree that you could get to sell some shit product that you don't care about, or sit in a cubicle and do math for a company that you don't really care about, or schmooze some exec who's just doing a job to take care of a positively feminine woman at home that he cares far more about than you.
So, again, getting back to the fact that if you make sure that you take care of things while he's at work, he will reciprocate, and if you take care of him when he gets home from work, you'll have a healthy relationship. This is something that a lot of women don't really understand, is that, and this goes back to I didn't talk about it much with the video, but I could have with Tomi Lahren. Men look for something different on the resume than what women look for. We are different. So when you take Tomi's resume from the previous video where she wanted men to be successful, have money, all this stuff, that men are going to get that themselves. They don't need a woman to do that. They need a woman to do the things that they aren't doing. They need somebody to complement what they're doing, not to do the same thing. If you are both working and then nobody's taking care of the house, that means that when you both get home and you're both tired, now you have to argue about who's going to do chores. If the chores are already taken care of because one person is staying at home and taking care of them while the other person is working, then it makes life much more smooth. Things are being taken care of the house while somebody is making sure they can pay for the house. Therefore, everything, when they come home, you can spend time together and not have to clean the house, fight over who's going to make sure, clean the kids up, feed the kids, all that stuff. You find somebody who complements what you were doing. In general, at least historically, men were the ones that went out and worked because we were, quote, the hunters, and would bring food back. Women would make sure to take care of things at the house while we were away. Now with some couples it might work okay with the woman going working and the guy staying home. More power to you if that works for you. But in general, having somebody who complements what you're doing is really what is going to help you create a healthy relationship. While we were at work, if you are cooking dinner so that dinner is ready when we get home, we can enjoy dinner with you and then have more time with you instead of, hey, I just got home at 5 o'clock. Now I have to figure out what to cook for dinner, so now we're having dinner at 7 o'clock. Then we have to clean up. By the time cleanup's done, it's 8:30. Kids got to get in bed by 9, and then you're passing out at 9:30, 10 o'clock. And had zero time spending working on your relationship with your husband or wife. That gets you into a cycle where you're effectively roommates raising kids together, and that doesn't work out really well.
Number 6, your relationships are the most important things you have in this world. And women are typically better at creating social environments. So I would say using your positive femininity to create those relationships that means something. And number one, I would say it's a husband, a man, a partner. Yes, a man. Children, family, friends, community. Build those things.
So here, you notice that she put her the husband first. Build your relationship with your husband. Everything else will fall into line after that. It's what it sounded like in the previous video was that those women were putting their kids first, and their husband got thrown somewhere way down the line of priorities. When that happens, this is just my theory here. You end up seeing a lot of people who, once their kids turn their youngest kids turn 18 or go off to college or whatnot, they end up getting divorced. It's because finally they're back in the house alone, and they realize that they've spent 18 years growing apart, and now they're in two completely different places, and they can't find a way to get back together. It's a shame when that happens, and it's completely preventable by keeping your relationship a priority while you're raising kids. Kids, yes, I know they need a lot of attention. I've got 3 of my own, but you can't sacrifice your relationship with the person you created those kids with in order to raise those kids. You have to keep nurturing that relationship, and that should become first, because if that comes first, then everything else falls into place afterwards.
But I imagine that a fat, ugly woman, once she gets a man, she'll do whatever it takes to please him. And this is what I'm talking about. I want you to look at your man when you finally find him through your filtration system and think daily, how do I keep him?
So I love that video because the title is great. The title of that video was Find a Man Who Makes You Feel Fat and Ugly. And obviously you don't want somebody who treats you poorly. The whole idea is if you were fat and ugly and you found a man, you would want to make sure that you did not lose that man. So her premise in that video is make sure that you do everything you can to keep the man happy. I remember there was several years ago there was a celebrity. The key to their relationship is they never let their husband leave the house with a empty stomach or a full dick. And, it's kind of self-explanatory there. Make sure that he's not looking for somebody else to provide food. Make sure he's not looking for somebody else to provide bedroom fun. And chances are he's going to remain faithful. And that's along the same lines as what Jennifer's getting at here.
I think that bliss is having a solid relationship with someone that you respect, someone who a man who you cannot walk all over. But as far as they're concerned,
So I'll let the rest of the video play here, but I wanted to stop it here real quick. Notice that, the level of respect is different here. The other Cat and Nat seem to almost have treat their husbands as another one of their kids, whereas Jennifer's like, no, you should have respect. You shouldn't, the man should not let you walk all over him, which seems to be what the other two are doing.
Some are concerned, as far as they know, as some know, as far as they see from TV. This is how it works. They rule the man. The man is weak. The woman is strong. Bliss. You, whether you're a man or a woman, ever asked a woman what she brings to the table? We need to be asking this of ourselves. If you're a woman, I'm a woman. I ask myself this. Ask your female friends, men out there, ask your female friends, because they're not asked it enough. They consider everything about what a man has to do to be worthy of them, and they don't do much considering what they bring to the table.
Which I love closing with that, because that kind of wraps up the contrast between the two channels here very nicely. If you notice in the other video, the women were going, oh, you need to do this, this, and this, and then we'll get some bedroom fun. Whereas she's going, no. Make sure that you're bringing stuff to the table here too. Don't just make demands and have nothing that you're providing. So that wraps up my two topics, but I did want to include one story that Jennifer gives that originally I was going to include in the whole approach to relationship, but actually I like the story so much I want to separate it out into its own thing. and it revolves around the whole cooking and taking care of your relationship aspect of things.
I woke up one morning a couple months ago, and I was like, oh my god, I want my friend Rocket to come over for dinner, and another man that I love very much, right? I wanted them to feel love. So as soon as I woke up, I started looking at recipes. So I called them up and said, would you come over for dinner tonight? Bring a bottle of wine. So I made that.
Right, so keep in mind that this is for a couple of her friends. Although I suspect one of them is probably her husband, because she didn't name him. But regardless, she went out of her way and said, hey, you know what? I want them to know they're loved. So I'm going to do something nice for them. Completely unprovoked. No quid pro quo. I'm going to do something nice for them.
Nice. Can I just tell you what I made? I made crepes for the first time, stuffed with ham and homemade Mornay sauce. And I made beef Wellington. So I cut, the duxelles. I cut duxelle style mushroom duxelle, oh my god. Which took like 45 minutes, right? And I did the pastry and I wrapped everything and I made that, and I made a homemade whiskey creme anglaise sauce to go with berries. So I served a 3-course meal, and they said, why are you doing this? I said, because I fucking love you and I want you to know that.
So, again, the whole kind of service mentality, but making sure that the people that she cares about know that they're loved and know that they're appreciated. And she goes out of her way, and she actually enjoys the work that she did to show that. Like, she was excited about the fact that it took 45 minutes just to cut mushrooms.
Now, one of my friends, one of the two guys there, had a girlfriend that he'd been with for like 6 months, and he said she's never cooked for me.
So that blows my mind, because I can't think of a single woman or girl that I've dated ever since I was 15 who did not at some point cook something for me. Hell, I've had girls that I went on one date with and cooked a pie for me for the next day and brought it over. So this baffles me that you could be with somebody for 6 months, and it sounds like they live together, or at least spend a good amount of time at each other's places, and she's never even cooked scrambled eggs in the morning when they woke up.
Never cooked for me. I said, not like in all the times you've woken up together, you just never made you scrambled eggs or anything. And he said, no, this is amazing. And I couldn't believe it. And I think, the more comments that I read.
So, just pausing again real quick. Keep in mind, this is what he saw that a woman who cares about him would do. Now, when he goes back to his girlfriend, what do you think his attitude is going to be, or how his expectations? He now sees that his girlfriend isn't doing something that other women would be doing. Now, obviously, I believe Jennifer's married, so she's probably not looking to steal the guy. But if another single woman came up and said, hey, let me cook you, dinner or whatnot, his girlfriend's probably gone. Because she's not fulfilling one of the as we mentioned in my story, a few minutes ago, where stomach full, dick empty. She might be doing the latter, but she's not doing the former. If somebody else comes along and is doing both, where do you think she goes?
Women, I'm not attacking you. Like, I'm starting to get more feminists saying, like, you want rape. You're the fucking worst. You're against your own gender. No. Like, we have something to provide, but we're not doing it. If one of the most amazing men that I know has a girlfriend that can't even fucking cook him scrambled eggs, really?
Yeah, I'll stop it there, because I share that frustration. And with that, I'm going to close out today's video. But so just kind of going back to the 3 questions that I had earlier. So, men, which attitude would you prefer to come home to? Cat Nat or Jennifer? For women, which attitude do you think your husband or future husband would like to come home to? And again, for the women, which attitude do you think is going to lead to a healthier and happier relationship with your future husband or husband? Or do you not care? So again, if you like the question, leave comments, like, subscribe, and talk to you next time.